Well, it's day 5, shading day. Get out your tortillon, get out your pencil. It could be any pencil, doesn't have to be the ZenTangle pencil. And tortillon, if you don't have a blending stick or tortillon, you can use a Q-tip or your finger. And we're going to do our tortillon toast like we do every Friday. When I count to 3, just yell out tortillon. I know I can't hear you, but believe me, you'll love how it feels. 1, 2, 3, tortillon. Very good. Some of you didn't pronounce it correctly, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. All right, so I hold the pencil in the palm of my hand, because I just learned that. To do that, you don't have to. And I like to shade on the side of the pencil, because it will blend better. And what we're going to do with Cadent, the first pattern here, is we'll just pick one side. So I'm going to pick the right side and kind of just give that little S shape, that one side, a little bit of an aura, just along that line, that S-shaped line, giving it a little aura just right inside that line. And I'm just putting it down, just gradually shading that. So it really doesn't matter if you go, how you put the graphite down, as long as you use the side of your pencil. Because if you use the tip, you might create a line and it might be harder to shade, but it's still okay to do that. There's all different ways to shade. So we're just going to do this on every single one, going this direction, meaning top to bottom, like a column. Watching how the pencil goes on the paper, the graphite. Notice how it feels, how it appears. There we go. And when you're done with that, you pick up your tortillon and we're just going to blend it, smooth it out in little circular motions. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my tile so that my tortillon is facing that line. And I'm going to, and so we'll just kind of bring it in that angle instead of the opposite. So we'll just, blending that in, staying pretty close to the edge. But as you blend it in, it comes out a little bit, which is good. And you do that with every one of them, focusing how relaxed you are. If you're holding really tightly, like I am, you want to just maybe loosen that grip, slow it down, focus on smoothing that out, enjoy the process, enjoy how it starts to transform. And depending on what kind of paper you use, the blending is different. So the ZenTangle paper, which is 100% cotton and acid-free, the shading blends quite well on that. This paper here is just from a plain sketchbook. It's plain white paper, but it still blends quite nicely. So it's a nice smooth paper. And it really doesn't matter what kind of paper you use. It's just your preference. What do you enjoy? So I'm going to be quiet now so you can enjoy, really get into the meditation. And once you're done with that, you can go back. I mean, look how that transformed, right? And you can go back and maybe smooth it out some more. And now I've got back to the regular size. I don't have to actually put my tortillon in that direction. You can if you want to, but, or maybe tilt it a little bit. I just wanted to get it back up this way. Now there is no right side up in ZenTangle, as many of you know. It's not supposed to look like anything. It's non-representational. And I like how that came out. I think it's very pretty. All right, so now we're going to move on and we're going to shade scallops. So this was cadent and this is now scallops. And I will show you the names of the patterns again before we end today. So with scallops, we're going to put in a little bit of graphite right up, but like, you know where these lines are, we're going to do it right above the line where it has the stripes. And I'm also going to put it right below it. So I'm outlining these stripes auras. And yeah, I think that's, and then we'll just take that tortillon and blend it in. I know it's small, so just kind of do the best you can to just kind of smooth it out, staying real close to the edges so that the middle part shows up white. And if you want, you can do it on the little edges as well, keeping that middle area white. I'm also going to put some shading here. Now, you know, like I always say, there's lots of ways to shade. So you are free, you can shade any way you like. But this is how I'm going to shade today. And again, we'll do that on every one. Just putting a little graphite down right on either side of these stripes. And also right above the colored in area. And if you need to sharpen your tortillon, you can just get an emery board or some sandpaper and just kind of, you know, sharpen it along there. Or if you have a hole in yours on the edge, you can use a paper clip and push it out to make it more pointy. I just get a new tortillon. And again, you can always use what's left on your tortillon to fill in that area beneath. So right now what I'm doing is I'm going to just put in the graphite and then I'm going to go back and blend them all in rather than switching constantly. Now if you are switching, a little tip for you that I just learned from Joanna Quincy, CZT in the UK, is you can hold your pencil in one hand and your tortillon in the other. And so instead of putting it down each time, you can just switch back and forth with your pencil. See, I can just switch if I want to do that. So you can see how it really gives it a nice 3D effect, really changes the look. Makes it so pretty. All right. Let's move on to shading owl line. And with owl line, I like to do a couple of things. One is I like to just kind of shade one side of it. Actually, maybe I'll do two sides today. We can do two sides. You can do one side or two, keep in the middle nice and white with a nice little highlight. So that's one way to shade. The other is I like to color in some of the rings that are still white. Again, maybe just sporadically, like there's one there and maybe one over here. And then when I color in, I'll then blend and smooth it out. Yeah, sorry, I did that one. And maybe I'll do another one over here. You see how I'm switching now. You know, at first it didn't feel good to me switching the pencil and tortillon back and forth, but today it feels really good actually. I don't know why. I guess just getting used to something different. And with what's left on your tortillon, you can do like one side, like I showed you here. I did two sides here, but if you want just to one side, and if you have a small area, like this, you know, like I do, you might just want to do use what's left on your tortillon. Just kind of dab it, a little dab here and there. Another thing I want to do with my dabbing is just give a little bit in the middle of these spirals, or small E's. I'm just using what's left of my tortillon. And if I want, instead of putting down graphite, I can go over here where there's some graphite, kind of get some more graphite on my tortillon and then dab some more here. I find where there's some dark graphite, just blend it in some more. And now I've got more graphite on my tortillon. Oh, and look, and I found a little pyramid that has nothing on it. Gotta fill that in a little bit. Okay. Nice. And now we're going to shade Elegant. Elegant. And with Elegant, we're going to do, again, two areas I like to shade, or a couple. One is right on the kind of where it curves on the ball. Here. I'm going in that direction. And then sliding it. Now again, if I want to go towards the line, I'll turn it around and just so that my tortillon faces the edge. It's not imperative, but it's just something I learned recently, and it's kind of a cool little trip. So now as I blend it in, I push it out just a little bit more, just kind of a little bit more on the side because that feels good. And the other thing, I'll do this on every single one of them. And then where it meets here, we'll put a little bit of shading there as well, using the side of the pencil, blending in. As you can see, I'm starting to put my pencil down again, but that's all right. And I'll just blend it there and then kind of push it up a little bit to get a lighter shade. I might even go a little bit further on some of them, just to get a little bit lighter. And then with these here, I'll do a little bit also right in the bottom of them. And I'm just using what's left of my tortillon as well. Just kind of dabbing a little bit on these little doodads, as I call them, right? Or florals. Here's so I'm going to put some more graphite on my tortillon and just give it a little bit here. Now there's some pencil here from the border, so I'm just grabbing that as well to bring that in, to smooth it out a little bit. Look how different the shading makes it. So we did go a lot over today, and mainly because it's shading day. At least that's my excuse. Now take a minute and look at your tile and see if there's any touch-ups you want to make. If you want to add anything, maybe turn it around, see what it looks like in different directions. Because there's no right side up. It could be any way you like. You can add anything you want to it. A lot of times after my classes, people continue to work on their tiles. You might take your pen and add some things. Like for example, maybe I will add a little embellishment here, right? Just some ideas. You know, a fescue is always fun to add, a little fescue. So just because the class is over doesn't mean you have to stop working on it. You know, if you feel like you want to keep working, I don't like the word working, drawing, enjoying, you know, adding, being artistic, being creative, then go for it. Keep adding to it. And I would love it if you when you're done, take a picture, post it on the Facebook page. There will be a post designated just for this week's class, and you can just post it in the comments section by clicking the photo icon to upload your photo. And I look forward to seeing everybody's, and I can't wait to see it. So have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, and keep tangling. And thank you so much for spending this week with me.